Ever wondered about the difference between cloud networking and traditional networking? Let's dive in. Cloud networking is all about harnessing the power of the cloud. It involves using cloud-based infrastructure and services to manage, deliver, and optimize network resources. Think of it as a virtualized network, where components like switches, routers, and firewalls are hosted in the cloud. This allows for a higher degree of flexibility and scalability as organizations can access and configure their networks remotely via web-based interfaces. Gone are the days of needing on-premises hardware. But what about traditional networking? Well, this approach is grounded in physical hardware and on-site infrastructure. It's all about establishing and maintaining network connectivity through dedicated hardware devices deployed within an organization's premises. All these devices are interconnected to form the network infrastructure. Unlike its cloud counterpart, traditional networking often requires a significant upfront investment in hardware procurement, installation, and maintenance. In terms of performance and scalability, cloud networking has a distinct advantage. Its cloud-based infrastructure can easily adapt to fluctuations in demand, enabling organizations to scale resources up or down dynamically. This is a boon for businesses with fluctuating workloads or seasonal demand patterns. Plus, cloud networking offers high levels of redundancy and failover capabilities, ensuring uninterrupted connectivity and minimizing downtime. On the flip side, traditional networking might find it challenging to match the scalability and agility of cloud-based solutions. Scaling traditional networks often involves expensive hardware upgrades and manual configuration changes, which can be time-consuming and resource-intensive. Plus, traditional networks may be more susceptible to single points of failure, as hardware components can malfunction or become obsolete over time. When it comes to costs, cloud networking again takes the edge. It typically operates on a pay-as-you-go model, allowing organizations to pay only for the resources they consume. This eliminates the need for large upfront investments in hardware and allows for more predictable budgeting. In contrast, traditional networking often requires substantial capital expenditure on hardware acquisition and infrastructure setup. These are the two giants of networking technology, each with its own set of benefits and limitations. Now that we've defined them, let's move on to see how they stack up against each other in the next part of our comparison. How do cloud networking and traditional networking compare in terms of performance and scalability? That's the question we'll be exploring in this section. Let's start with cloud networking. One of the major perks of cloud networking is its inherent scalability. Because the infrastructure is hosted in the cloud, it can easily adapt to fluctuations in demand. This allows organizations to scale resources up or down as needed, providing an agility that is particularly beneficial for businesses with fluctuating workloads or seasonal demand patterns. In addition to scalability, cloud networking also offers high levels of redundancy and failover capabilities. This ensures uninterrupted connectivity and minimizes downtime, which is crucial in today's fast-paced, always-on digital world. But what about traditional networking? Well, while it might not boast the same level of scalability as cloud networking, it's not without its merits. Traditional networking offers stability and predictability, which can be a significant advantage for businesses with steady workloads and predictable network demands. However, scalability can be a challenge. With traditional networking, scaling often involves costly hardware upgrades and manual configuration changes. This can be time-consuming and resource-intensive. Furthermore, traditional networks may be more susceptible to single points of failure. Hardware components can malfunction or become obsolete over time, which can disrupt network connectivity and impact performance. So, when it comes to performance and scalability, it's clear that each approach has its strengths and weaknesses. Cloud networking offers flexibility and scalability, making it a great option for businesses with variable workloads and those that need to scale quickly. On the other hand, traditional networking offers stability and predictability, which can be beneficial for businesses with steady network demands. But it's not just about performance and scalability. There are other factors to consider, such as cost, security, and compliance, which we'll be exploring in the next sections of this video. For now, let's just say that when it comes to scalability and performance, cloud networking has a clear edge, but traditional networking has its own unique strengths. It's about evaluating your specific needs and deciding which approach best suits your business. Cost is a crucial factor in any networking decision. How do cloud networking and traditional networking compare? When we examine the cost models of these two networking types, we see distinct differences. Cloud networking typically operates on a pay-as-you-go model. This means businesses only pay for the resources they actually consume. It's a bit like paying for electricity or water. You only pay for what you use. This model eliminates the need for hefty upfront investments in hardware and allows for more predictable budgeting. The cherry on top is that cloud networking can also reduce ongoing maintenance costs. This is because cloud providers handle the nitty-gritty of hardware maintenance and software updates. Now let's pivot to traditional networking. This model often requires a significant capital expenditure up front. Yes, you heard it right. Businesses need to budget for the initial costs of purchasing networking equipment, not to mention the infrastructure setup. But it doesn't stop there. There are also ongoing expenses to consider, such as maintenance, upgrades, and support contracts. Over time, these costs can pile up, especially for businesses operating at scale or those with complex network requirements. However, it's not all doom and gloom for traditional networking. In some cases, it can be cost-effective. For instance, businesses that have stable and predictable network demands may find that the upfront investment pays off in the long run. This is particularly the case for organizations that already own their networking hardware and have the in-house expertise to manage and maintain it. So to sum it all up, while cloud networking often offers more predictability and flexibility in terms of cost, traditional networking can also be a cost-effective solution in certain scenarios. It's all about understanding your business's unique needs and choosing the right approach accordingly. From a financial perspective, cloud networking often offers more predictability and flexibility, but traditional networking can also be cost-effective in certain scenarios. Security and compliance are critical in today's digital age. How do cloud networking and traditional networking fare in this aspect? Well, let's dive right in. Starting with cloud networking, it offers robust security features including encryption, access controls, and threat detection mechanisms. These are built directly into the cloud infrastructure, providing a high level of security. Furthermore, cloud providers often have dedicated security teams that work tirelessly to prevent and respond to threats, which can be a significant benefit, especially for smaller organizations without extensive in-house security resources. However, it's important to remember that with cloud networking, you're entrusting your data to a third party. This requires a degree of trust in the cloud provider's security measures and practices. Additionally, data privacy laws can complicate matters, especially for organizations operating across multiple jurisdictions. Now let's shift our attention to traditional networking. One of its primary advantages in terms of security is control. With traditional networking, you have direct control over your network infrastructure and data. This can be particularly beneficial for organizations with stringent compliance requirements or that handle sensitive information. Yet, the security of traditional networks heavily relies on the organization's ability to manage and maintain it. This includes regular updates, patches, and monitoring, which can be resource-intensive. Furthermore, traditional networking lacks some of the advanced security features associated with cloud networking, such as automated threat detection and response mechanisms. So where does this leave us? Well, in terms of security and compliance, it's not a simple case of one being better than the other. The choice between cloud networking and traditional networking often comes down to an organization's specific needs, resources, and risk tolerance. In cloud networking, you benefit from robust security features and dedicated security teams, but you must trust your provider's security practices. On the other hand, traditional networking provides direct control over your infrastructure and data, but requires significant resources to manage and maintain security effectively. Both networking types have their own strengths and weaknesses when it comes to security and compliance. Now that we've looked at the main factors, Let's sum up the comparison between cloud networking and traditional networking. In terms of performance and scalability, cloud networking clearly has the edge. Its inherent adaptability allows it to respond quickly to changes in demand, making it an excellent choice for organizations with fluctuating workloads or seasonal demand patterns. The high levels of redundancy and failover capabilities ensure uninterrupted connectivity, which is a significant advantage for businesses that cannot afford downtime. On the other side, traditional networking may struggle to match the agility and scalability of the cloud. Scaling up often involves significant hardware upgrades and manual configuration changes, which can be both time-consuming and resource-intensive. Moreover, the risk of single points of failure is higher with traditional networking, as hardware components can become obsolete or malfunction over time. In terms of cost, cloud networking generally comes out on top again. With a pay-as-you-go model, organizations only pay for the resources they consume. This approach eliminates the need for large, upfront investments in hardware and allows for more predictable budgeting. Plus, as cloud providers handle maintenance and updates, ongoing costs can be significantly reduced. Traditional networking, on the other hand, often requires substantial initial outlay for hardware and infrastructure setup. Ongoing expenses related to maintenance, upgrades, and support contracts can also add up, particularly for larger businesses or those with complex network requirements. Finally, when it comes to security and compliance, both options have their strengths and weaknesses. Cloud networking offers robust security features, including encryption, access controls, and threat detection mechanisms. However, traditional networking provides granular control over security settings, which can be beneficial for organizations with specific compliance requirements. In the end, the choice between cloud networking and traditional networking will depend on your specific needs, preferences, and resources.